Ok, ahorita. Y buenos días, muy buenos días. ¿Cómo están ustedes?
Genial, genial.
Genial.
Perfect.
Genial. Excelente. Me alegro mucho. Sí, genial
Todo
aquí también.
perfecto.
Perfecto. Sí. Excelente. Estupendo. Bueno, clase. We want to make, I want to throw it over to Diane for a quick minute. Diana, sí.
Yes, thank you, Marilyn. We have decided to sort of postpone the luncheon until we know better the numbers. Everything seems to be happening. Several people cannot make it because of possible exposures. And so we think it's really a wise idea to just wait until numbers are better. So there will be no luncheon on Thursday.
Okay.
So my wife will be very disappointed. She wanted to go to IKEA while I was eating lunch.
You can still drive downhill.
And you know, I'm kind of the one of the people who I have a person in my household who got exposed at university. So she's fine so far, but she will be testing for a few days now. So during exam week, oh, how fun. The fun never stops.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fun never stops. So while I'm sure you don't want to know the silly details, yes, we got information about that on Saturday night about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Yay. You have possibly been exposed. So anyway, daughter's testing a bunch of times yet this week. And, you know, she's fine at this point, but we decided because of all that. And yeah, the number's not looking so good.
Thank you for your caution.
Well, you know what? It is not worth getting people ill. We don't want people ill. That's no fun. That's not the purpose. Okay.
Right.
So, okay.
Otra pregunta, por favor.
Sí, dime.
How do you say, ¿cómo se dice I am cold? Tengo frío?
Mucho frío.
Tengo frío.
Tengo frío.
Tengo frío. Aquí tengo frío. Yo también tengo frío aquí. Mi nueva oficina que es otro cuarto en la casa, es otro cuarto. Aquí hace frío. Hace frío. When you talk about your surroundings, it's hace frío. It makes cold.
Hace frío.
La diferencia. Hay una diferencia. There's a difference between talking about the air around you and just your body temperature. So if we're just talking about it's cold outside, it's hace frío. Literally, it makes
Cold.
but tengo frío.
I
And
am
it
cold.
has all those accompanying little idioms that talk about bodily sensations and sometimes not about bodily sensations. Okay, so like, tengo razón, I am right. Okay, that's not a bodily sensation. You know, but tengo suerte, I'm lucky, that is not a bodily sensation, but tengo calor en junio, en julio, en agosto tengo calor, tengo frío, right? Tengo hambre, hungry, tengo sed, I'm thirsty. All those things, don't use estar and don't use ser. They use tener for talking about human beings. Okay, that's one of the kind of funky things with Spanish. It's hard to remember. So, okay. Excelente, excelente. Vamos a comenzar. Today is otra pregunta. Hay otra pregunta. Is there another question? I thought I heard. Or
Oh,
just
no.
feedback. Nora, sí, dime.
Oh, at Walgreens, I was reading the Spanish sign by the vaccinations, and it says, "Consulta a tu farmacéutico hoy mismo." Why would they just say hoy instead of consult your pharmacy hoy mismo?
Hoy
Like
mismo. Hoy,
today,
hoy-
same.
yeah,
Why?
today's saying, yeah, oh, mismo. Mismo is one of those adjectives we could be possibly looking at. Yeah, mismo is one of those words. Hoy mismo. Hoy mismo es como decir right today.
Okay,
Uh,
like
ahora
right
mi-
now.
yeah, like right, yeah. Ahora
Okay.
mismo. So, okay. There is a whole thing on this. I'll see if I can find the video because I think it's a recent one. I might be able to find it easily. Especialmente in Mexico, especially in Mexico. Ahora is not really ahora, sadly. It is in definition, ahora en español es now. Okay. But when people tell you ahora in Mexico, ahora is not like now. Ahora is like sometime soon.
Oh, okay.
But we don't, yeah. And so how do you know if it's like right now, ahora mismo? Yeah. Even sometimes ahorita in other places is right now, but ahorita even in Mexico might not mean right now. Ya, that's one of those ya things.
Okay.
Yeah, but
When you-
ahora mismo means right now. Hoy mismo, right away today.
Okay.
Yeah, mismo is one of those odd words that has special meanings. Yo mismo, I myself.
Oh,
Yo mismo.
When you
Um,
look up mismo in the dictionary in that living language book, it means same.
It does. It does mean that too.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Yes, it does mean
It's sort of
that
an
too.
idiom, extra.
Okay, por ejemplo, ustedes pueden decir, tengo el mismo libro. I have the same book. Tengo el mismo libro. I have the same book. See, yo mismo, I myself. Change a little. Ahora mismo, right now. Yeah, it changes the meaning of that little bit, that word mismo, depending on where it goes and what you're using to say it. And you just get a feel for that as you go along. So it's not too bad. We're going to be cobbling together a bunch of things today, but I do want to start off with one of those response things and have you practice the ing response, the ando yendo response.
Alright,
So we're going to have a little kind of a review video that is super, super short. And I want to remind you that one of the items, one of the ways to respond that we had last week to a question, I'm putting it in the chat box, like, ¿qué estás haciendo? Which means, what are you doing? Or really, this next question means the exact same thing. It's just a different way of expressing it. Que, uy. Punctuation marks are the worst when I change my keyboard. ¿Qué haces? What are you doing? ¿Qué haces? ¿Qué estás haciendo? One of the responses was using an ing, right? So this was off of that video of, don't just say muy bien, ¿cómo estás? Or ¿qué haces? ¿Qué estás haciendo? And who remembers what the response was?
Aquí.
Yeah, aquí.
Aquí yendo al supermercado.
Trabajando.
Yeah, aquí. And yendo is kind of an odder one because yendo comes from ir. So let's say you were
Leyendo.
doing the, yeah, aquí, yeah, right. Aquí leyendo.
Y
Leyendo.
descansado.
Yes, yeah, ya sabes. Aquí leyendo, ya sabes. Just, and it's like we might say, somebody phones you, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just reading, just reading, just resting, aquí descansando. Aquí conectando mi computadora here, just connecting the computer. So that ando yendo, we're going to have a little quick review of what that is and what that does. And before I send you off into breakout rooms to practice that. So we're going to put that on share screen. This is just a little refresher of why, what that ando yendo thing is and why we use it. And I know it will be kind of crude drawing, but if this is a quick down and dirty, really easy to get video for a great review. And he's going to talk about present progressive, which when you use it as a verb form with estar, that is what it winds up being. But we're going to be using it without estar, just the ando yendo part today.
Is a verb tense. And this verb tense is a way to talk about what we're doing in this moment, like what is happening right now. So
and that is key. This ando yendo thing always communicates a right now. So it's not the ing, like we say in English, what are you doing tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow I'm doing laundry, but that's tomorrow I'm doing laundry. It's not that kind of ing. In Spanish, when you use the ing, it means ahora mismo. It means exactly ahora mismo. It means right now, it's going on. That is the meaning of that, using that structure. It's very,
really
very
want to
specific.
emphasize what is going on. And in English, this might sound like our ing tense, like right now, I am speaking, you are listening, we are studying, and we're really emphasizing what is happening right now. All right, well, the first thing we need to know is how do we form it? Well, we are going to take a form of a star, and since we're in the present tense, we're
you're not going to be using the estar part, just so you know. Although if it's a verb tense, then you do take the estar part.
going to use the present indicative. So estoy, estás, right, all the way through. And then if you have an AR verb, we're going to have an ando. And if you have an ER or an IR verb, you're going to have a yendo. So if I wanted to say, I am speaking, start with your infinitive, drop your AR, and add your ando. So we would have, I am speaking. Let's try a second one. Let's say you are eating. Well, we know that it's comer. Take off our ER. And it's an ER verb, so we will add IENDO. So the first one translates as, I am speaking. And again, we're really emphasizing that it's happening right now in this moment. And this one translates as, you are eating. The next thing we want to look at are, do we have any exceptions or do we have any irregular formations for our gerunds? So this part, this ando yendo, sometimes we call that a gerund, the ing in Spanish and in English. So we can have an I that will turn to a Y if it falls between two vowels. What? Okay, let's look at an example. If we wanted to say, I am reading, estoy. Leer, I need to take off my ER, L-E-I-N-D-O, but if the I falls between two vowels, then that I will change to a Y. So, estoy leyendo. The same works with oír and creer. So the I will change to a Y. The final thing that we need to know are there any stem changers? And yes, there are. But the good news is
Yeah, the good news is there are not many of them.
our stem changers, they don't happen in AR verbs. They don't happen in ER verbs. They only happen in IR verbs. So what kind of change do we have? Well, we can have an O change to a U, or an E can change to an I. Well, how will I know if it's a stem changing verb? Well, if it changes in the present, it changes in the present progressive. So dormir is an O to UE stem changer in the present, but here it'll change O to U. So what would it look like? If I wanted to say I am sleeping, I would say estoy. I take off my IR and I add yendo. But then I know that it's a stem changer, and so my O will change to a U, and so I will have durmiendo.
So that's one of the few stem changes that you might be tempted to use. Okay, por ejemplo, if somebody phoned you and you're just waking up in the morning, okay, they call you at 6 a.m., you're still in bed, and you answer the phone very, very, bleary minded, at least I would be. Okay. Aquí durmiendo, ya sabes, aquí durmiendo. I'm just sleeping here, Yeah. So you're going to use it without the estar. Okay. You're going to take away the estar because the estar is kind of implied with this way of responding, and people don't bother to use it if it is in response to ¿qué haces? ¿Qué estás haciendo? What you doing, right? Which we use as a greeting sometimes for people. That's the point, the greeting thing. Okay, bien. So we're going to take a look at a couple of other examples. Unos ejemplos más. Aquí, por ejemplo, because I will send you off into breakout rooms. So just do a few, and this will be a short breakout room. If somebody calls on your phone, you got a speakerphone option, right? You're driving in the car while they call. You're on Scottsdale Road, you're on Hayden, you're someplace, right? And somebody, ¿qué haces? ¿Qué haces? And you want to tell them, oh, just driving here. The response would be aquí.
Manejando.
Manejando, sabes. Aquí manejando, ya sabes. And if you want to drop the ya from the sabes, you can do that. No importa, doesn't matter. Ya sabes, ¿sí? Aquí manejando. We keep this a from the AR, but it's an ando, ando. We have to hear that A-N-D-O, ando. Aquí manejando, ya sabes. Oh, the telemarketer calls you. Would you like to sell your house? Seriously, they're calling again for the 5th time. Oh, yeah. And you want to tell them, hey, we're eating dinner here. Aquí.
Cenando.
Aquí cenando, ya sabes.
Sabes.
Yeah, this time it wouldn't be very friendly, would it? Aquí cenando, ya sabes. Yeah. Somebody, you've got the grandkids over and you're kind of messing around with them, just horsing around with the nietos, the grandkids, and you say, aquí
Jugando.
jugando con los niños.
Jugando.
Jugando con los niños, ya
Jugando.
sabes, see? Somebody calls you while you're in line and you are at the grocery store and they're on the phone.
Aquí pagando.
Aquí pagando la cuenta en Sprouts and Safeway. Look, somebody calls while you're running in the park. Aquí
Corriendo.
corriendo. We need a little I in there.
Corriendo.
Corriendo. Bien. You're finishing up some emails and it's aquí
Escribiendo.
escribiendo. Aquí escribiendo unos emails, ya sabes, see? And this one really doesn't change that much. It's a spelling thing. So when you say it to somebody, it still sounds the same as the yendo. It's aquí.
Leyendo.
Leyendo.
Leyendo, ya sabes, ¿sí? Bien. So that is the general pattern. So I want you to go off. This is going to be a very short breakout room, okay? Just practice something or some things you might use with that. Y, uy, ¿cuántos necesito? How many breakout rooms? I'm just going to keep it really simple. Quizás 3 minutos. You probably only need 3 to 5 minutes to do this one. It's not that big. I'm going to put you in a big group. ¿Alguna pregunta? Any question before I send you off to practice? Sí, Nora.
In your email, you had this verb, B-A-J-A-R, bahar.
Sí, bajar.
And I looked that up, it said to go down. When would I, like if I'm going down to Scottsdale, is that how I use that?
Sí. No. Like going down the stairs.
Okay,
Bajando, like let's say
Going
you've got a
downhill?
second from bajando, going downhill. Oh, also getting out of a vehicle.
oh,
So
okay.
if you're getting out of the car,
Leyendo.
getting out of the car, getting off a bus, getting off a subway. That's
Okay.
bajando. Or coming down a flight of stairs. That's bajando. Bajando could be if you're a little kid coming down out of a tree because you climbed the tree, but that's probably
Oh.
not you or me.
No. Okay,
Pero muy común, very, very common to tell, oh, I'm just getting out of the car now. Es como se dice, it's how you say it. Because when you get out of a vehicle, you are stepping out and down to the street. I'm sure that is why. Buena pregunta. Hay más. Any other questions before it? Sí, dime, Catherine.
I think I missed when you said we could drop the estoy and
Yes.
say "I," or you can use it.
Es buena pregunta. That's a good question. You could use it. Estoy. This is kind of a shorty version when people say, how you doing? What you doing right now? So yeah, it kind of implies, but drops the estar part. So if you were to use it as a full sentence, it would be estoy leyendo, estoy manejando. We would keep it in if we were to use the whole phrase, but it does imply the estar. But drop it for the purpose of shortening the communication, because you're on the phone and you're talking to somebody real quick. It's that kind of thing.
And then when you were to change, if you were to change it to we're talking, then it's not going to be hablando. It would be.
Oh no, it will still be hablando.
Nosotros. ¿No?
Sí, what would change would be estar. Ando is always ando, no matter who. And yendo is always yendo, no matter who. What changes is the form of estar.
Estamos.
So estoy hablando, estás hablando, está hablando una persona, sí. Estamos hablando, están hablando, they are talking, see? So yeah, the only thing the thing that really gets conjugated is estar. And the ando yendo is what they call a gerund, which means that always stays in the same kind of form.
Okay.
Because the ando yendo works together with estar. Those two things work together as a unit. And we're just dropping the estar because people do it as a short form of communication. That's it. See?
When you drop the estar part, then do you have to have the aquí part?
Well, no.
No.
She gave you aquí because that is just
Like right
okay.
now. I am.
Como en inglés, aquí is here. So
Okay.
aquí descansando, ¿sabes? I'm just resting here.
Right. Yeah.
So the aquí part is just here. And again, it's in response to somebody asking you in a very colloquial, quick manner,
it's
what you
all
doing?
It's all idiomatic.
It's all idiomatic. It's like somebody asking you what's up because they want to know what you're doing right now. And maybe they can't see you, or well, they might be meeting you in person. They can see you. Yeah. So the formal thing that we use with that gerund is a form of estar. But in this expression, we just drop it because it's a shorty phrase. Bien?
Sí.
Okay. Más preguntas. Any other questions? Because this will be a short breakout. The next one will be longer. No? Nada? Okay.
Nada.
Vale. Magnífico. Muy poco tiempo, very little time, and we'll come back in a bit. You'll need to hit your join button. And I need to time it. Vale, magnífico. Aquí.
Estoy aquí.
Ah, bien. Bien. Aquí esperando, ¿saben? Just waiting here. Aquí esperando, ¿saben? Vale. Ah, bien. Ok. Ah. Aquí esperando. Aquí no esperando. Here, not waiting anymore. Yeah. Ah, bien. Ok. Ah, excelente. ¿Hay alguna pregunta? Any kind of question with that? Did that go pretty well?
See? Wait, I don't think we have enough time. Is it the one that we're doing all the 16 questions?
No. Just
No,
the
no.
ing. Just the ing.
Ah,
Just the ing. We'll do that later.
all right.
No, that wouldn't be enough time.
So
Oh my
we're
goodness.
ahead then.
You're ahead of it. That's okay. Está bien. It's okay.
I just had a
Ah.
question, a quick question.
Sí, sí,
Uh,
sí.
So when you add the Y, it's only when there's 3 vowels that would potentially fall in a row. Okay, so could it happen with an AR verb, or is it always with the I or the ER verb?
Oh, the why thing?
Yeah,
The why thing will only happen in these situations, and I'll show you real quickly I'll show you real quickly in the share screen, because actually this won't affect most of you. What you should know about this why thing is that it's a written rule. It's a writing rule. So if you're not writing, it doesn't matter because the sound is the same. It's a spelling thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't affect speaking in any way, shape, or form. Okay, but that why thing, doing instead of yendo, doing yendo, that happens with verbs that are these kind of endings, which are not a lot of verbs. So what are the EER things? They are verbs like leer, like creer. Wow, do I have a list of all those? Like destruir, to destroy, construir, huir, to flee an area because a tsunami is coming. Are you real likely to need to use those words? And it would sound, and so the essential thing is that these
Okay.
sound the same. But here's what we want to avoid with that. And then here's why it's a spelling thing in Spanish, which is a very phonetic language. We do not want it to look like what you see there. L-E-I-E-N-D-O. Those 3 vowels hanging together is like a no-no.
okay.
Because
Got it.
leyendo. What happens is going from the e to the e to the e softens it out and it becomes leyendo, because that is just a natural way rather than leyendo. 3 vowels together, yeah, kind of odd. So yeah, it's a phonetic thing. It's just what your voice does anyway. No big deal. But, the only one out of this group that you might use would be something like construyendo, like maybe the grandkids or the kids are building sand castles at the beach, construyendo, but, yeah. It's not a common thing. It's a spelling thing and nothing more. The thing that is a little odd is when you have these few stem changers, and even then, that's very, very few verbs. And again, for conversational, I'm a traveler kind of Spanish, not super common. The most common might be durmiendo, right? Instead of dormir, keeping that o of dormir, durmiendo. But, that's probably the most common verb in that kind of group. And it's a spelling change and it doesn't really affect what you're doing with speaking at all. Bien?
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Excelente. I am going to send you, but as homework, an extra video on gerunds, and you can choose. If you're at a real beginner stage, it might not have as much meaning to you. If you're an ongoing student, it might have more meaning to you. But I will send out in the recap another video on gerunds, that ing form, and just some of the nuances of how we use it. Spanish is a little different with that ing construction, and I'll show you real quickly again. Por ejemplo, for example, here is what happens where we tend to use this ing thing a lot. If I use it with estar, if I pair it up with estar, it becomes a formal verb tense, which is called present progressive. That is why that guy had present progressive. And progressive means, you know, rolling on. Yeah, rolling on action. It's in process now. In English, we tend to use ing quite a lot more. And ing in English doesn't always mean right now. You know, like you'll say, oh, on Saturday, I'm shipping all this stuff out on Saturday. And if I say I'm shipping these boxes out on Saturday, I'm not doing it right now. I will be doing it on Saturday. Okay, we can't use the Spanish ing, the Spanish ando, yendo to express that English idea. In Spanish, to use the ando, yendo, it's gotta mean ahorita, right? It's gotta mean this moment, okay? So that's why it's important for you guys to know. That's why it's a response to ¿Qué estás haciendo? What are you doing? People want to know what you mean. It's happening now. Yeah, what are you doing right now? And that's why it is used in response to what are you doing? ¿Qué estás haciendo? All right. So, you know, formally, if I use the whole structure, bien, estoy cocinando. Or we're watching a movie. Estamos, and notice what changes. Estamos viendo una película. Right? Estamos viendo una película. We're looking at a movie. We're watching a movie. Notice the viendo for ver, to see, does not change, right? The ando yendo stays the same. It's estar that changes if you use estar with the gerund. Otro ejemplo. Están tocando con la banda. Están tocando con la banda. They're playing with the
In the
band.
band.
Yeah, they're playing with the band, but that means it's going on as we speak. So the thing to remember about, and this is a super easy tense to use, all you need to know is how to conjugate estar. That's it. Es todo. The only thing that changes is estar, and everybody after first level knows how to conjugate estar. Estoy, estás, está, estamos, están, estáis if you're in Spain, but otherwise you don't need estáis, right? So that is the only part that changes. And as long as you've got the ando yendo down, boom, you can do it. But in Spanish, this can only mean it is going on as we are speaking. It cannot be used for near future. Bien? It cannot, because if you use this, people will think it's, yeah. Estoy preparando las cajas. I'm preparing the boxes to shipping it out. I can't pair that with el sábado on Saturday. Because it'd be like, huh? Estoy preparando means I'm doing it. I'm getting the packing stuff in right now. Yeah, that's what it means. Okay, bien?
Yeah.
Bien? Okay, and that's one way that the ing in Spanish differs quite a lot from the ing. It's not in the structure of the ing, it's the usage. Why and how we use it that makes a difference. So if you use that, people will think, now, okay, bien? Vale, bueno, okay. On to adjectives. We're going to do some practice. So I'm going to share this just so that you can very soon find this page if you printed it out, if you printed out these prompts, or if you have them saved in a file and you're like, oh my God, I got to find the file. And some of you are already on file. I can see that. That's great. If you need to pull that up or find where you printed that out, see, y 16 of these. Wow. Son muchos ejemplos. There are lots of examples. You'll want to start searching for that, but we're going to do a warm up review before I send you off into groups to do that. So here's our warm up review. Aquí estudiando, saben. Studying here, you know, aquí repasando. Ya saben, you guys know, yeah. Vale, magnifico. We're going to take a quick thing. This adjective thing is actually not hard, but it is important to know that some adjectives come in front of nouns, not that many, only certain categories, and some follow nouns. Most adjectives, and this is a thing we always teach people right away because it's the odd thing about Spanish compared to English. Not odd if you are a native Spanish speaker, of course. Adjectives generally follow a noun. And the general rule of thumb, you know, you want a 50-50 rule. You don't want a rule of like, I got 10 rules and now you're mentally trying to sort this out while you're speaking. That is not going to happen. That happens for exactly nobody. So you need a 50-50 rule, right? The 50-50 rule, the quickie rule that helps you decide, oh, the adjective will follow is, does it paint a picture in your head, this description? Is it verde, green? That paints a picture in your head. Is it even, you know, inteligente, intelligent? That still kind of paints a picture. You know, there's a mental image of intelligent versus the, right? Even though it's not very kind. You know, gordo, plump, right? Delgado, thin. Rápido. Wow, you have an image of maybe race cars racing, right? Or horses running, or doggies running, right? Rápido, rápido, lento. You know, you'll maybe picture, you know, la tortuga, a turtle, or something that goes slowly. So if the description paints a picture in your head, brings to mind a mental image, then it will follow the noun. But all of these adjectives, all of these words that don't really paint a picture, this doesn't paint a picture. It does tell you something's close, but that's about it, right? My things, my equipment. My equipment tells you who it belongs to. Okay, he needs very few words. Few doesn't paint a picture, just tells you an amount. Signora.
What happens with the two adjectives together? Like, I'm looking ahead at number 14. I know I had a question on it. The plural man. Or do you want us to struggle with it in our group first?
Usually you'll just use an E.
Y.
And in between. If they both follow, follow. Okay, por ejemplo, alguien famoso.
What if it's your former poor old neighbor? And there's one in front and one's in back.
Yes, sometimes you're going to have one in front and one in back. So we're going to see some examples here. Okay. Pueden ver, you can see the orange, the screen with the orange at the top, right?
Yeah.
See? Sí, el color naranja. Bien. Okay. A ver. So when adjectives are used right beside the noun, okay, they are describing. So when they paint a mental picture in your head, they follow the noun. And that is what we do not do in English. We do the opposite, right? You know, you're reading stories to your kid. Clifford is a big red dog. Big and red paint a picture, so they would have to follow dog in Spanish. So, una corbata azul, a blue tie, una palabra española, a Spanish word, la página siguiente, the following page. Well, okay, that's kind of an abstract example. La hora exacta, precise time. when you have two or more adjectives, you use y. Here we go. So, un hombre alto y delgado, a tall, slim man. Where we use a comma and two adjectives that
Yeah.
both paint a picture, create a mental picture, they'll use the two adjectives after the noun, but connect it with an y. Un hombre alto y delgado. You could have three. Un hombre fuerte, alto y delgado. A strong, right, tall and thin man. If they all paint pictures, they're going to follow, no matter if you have one adjective, two adjectives, three adjectives, no importa, bien? Okay? But some words are adjectives because literally they're in that sphere of they talk about the noun, but they don't necessarily paint a concrete picture of what that noun is essentially like, right?
Okay.
Okay, so these are the kinds of words that come in front of the noun, even though they are modifiers of the noun. Este sombrero, this hat, it just tells you like location wise that it's close to me. That's all it really tells you. Este sombrero, or mi padre, my father. It just tells you whose dad it is. It's possessive. Numbers always come. Anything talking about quantity, whether the quantity is specific, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, any number. Interrogatives, okay, we didn't go that far with our examples, but interrogatives come in front of nouns. Okay, we're going to talk about this next one in a bit, so no se preocupen, don't worry about that one yet. But this one, indefinite adjectives, and cada día talks about an amount, but it's a vague amount. Well, this isn't that vague. It really does mean every, so you know all of them.
So
but
why
it's
was
an amount.
precise? Why was precise after?
Precise?
Yeah, like.
Oh, this example
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
La hora exacta. The exact time, the precise time, meaning on the dot.
Doesn't paint such a picture
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, maybe not for you, but well, yeah, you know, that would probably not be the best example for them to give, but if they threw it out there because they wanted an abstract kind of example. Okay. And then we have some words that get shortened, like malo to mal, bueno to buen. Remember, she said in that video that malo and bueno are kind of son flexibles. Good and bad are kind of flexible. Some people will use malo before a noun or after, and it doesn't make a great deal of difference. Bueno before or after. Are good and bad a super precise painted picture in your head? They might not. Malo and bueno are two of the words that are pretty flexible. People may put it in front of the noun, they may put it after the noun. Both are considered okay and correct. Only thing you have to remember is that malo, if it is masculine, singular, masculino, singular, malo drops the O and becomes mal, okay? Bueno drops the O if it is masculino, singular, in front of a masculine singular noun. Buen tiempo, good weather, mal tiempo, bad weather. But buena estudiante if it's a girl student, okay? Malas noticias, bad news. Malas noticias. Wow, really coming for you. Tengo malas noticias. I have bad news. Tengo malas noticias, because news is always plural. Malas noticias. We don't shorten the word malo for malas noticias because it's feminine and plural. Okay, bien. Todo bien? Okay, so but the important thing to remember is that words that talk about amounts, whether they're specific numbers or words like mucho, much or a lot, poco, few or a little bit, right? Cada, each and every. Yeah, those kind of words, even todo, all is very vague amount. Todo will come in front. So anything that talks about an amount, but a vague amount, that will precede the noun. Okay? Bien? ¿Alguna pregunta? So what I want you to do is maybe work on the first 8. We're going to take these in halves. We're going to half it out because sometimes you get halfway through and you've got questions. So we're going to look at maybe 8 of these, come back and see what you got for answers. And the como estás part we already did, so we could actually take that out. You're not doing número uno. You already did that one, right? And so you're really starting with número 3 in a store. Bien? Okay. You're really starting with 3 because we did those other ones. So 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do up to number 10, número 10, because we're starting with number 3. 3 hasta 10. 3 to
10.
10. See? Bien? We're good with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Sí.
See what kind of answers you get. Compare those in small groups, and we'll come back and come across any questions you had. We'll do a quick correct. Bien. And I will put that screen into your breakout room as well, just to make it easier in case somebody doesn't have the page with them. You'll need to hit your join button. Oh, Cindy, will it not let you in?
It just got, it threw me out and now it
It's
just brought me
late.
back.
Okay, we'll give you a minute. And Cindy, if it won't kick you in, we could just practice the 2 of us. Nosotras.
I'm in.
Oh, you're in. Okay.
I'm in.
But I still see you here. Do you see your classmates or no?
Let me try.
Perfecto.
So I came to pick up the thing, by the way.
Okay, bien, 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 bien. Bienvenidos, welcome back in. Aquí esperando, here we are waiting for everybody else to come on in.
Esperando.
Y todo fue bien, everything went pretty well? There will be some question, that's okay, está bien, okay. Bien. Sí, Jan.
Okay. Número 4. Mi vieja está aquí por o para Navidad.
Para.
Para.
Mhm.
Muy bien.
And be careful with that to have mi vieja amiga, to include the amiga. Don't imply it. And I'll tell you why in a minute. I'll tell you why in a minute. Because it's a slang thing. Okay. Entonces también, vamos a corregir. We're going to correct un poquito.
Okay.
Sí. La respuesta ideal. You may have a response that's a little different. No importa mucho. Sometimes that may not matter a lot. You may use some different words, but we're going to put in here. Oh, y perdón, I really do need to do a share screen. Otherwise, this is going to be totally meaningless because, you can hear it, but having the hearing and the visual there at the same time is good. So you're in a store. You're in a store. See? I'm sorry. We started with that. Wow, we shouldn't have. That's the ing, isn't it? Yeah. Aquí buscando. Aquí buscando. Or aquí mirando. Yeah.
Mirando.
Igual. Same thing. Aquí mirando. Nada más. Sí. Nada más.
Okay, not solo.
Nada más. Just nothing else. Okay. I'm sorry. I should have started you on 4 instead of 3.
Aquí.
Okay. Bueno. All right. My old friend is here for Christmas. And of course, it depends on if it's a guy friend or a gal friend, right? So, mi vieja, let's say it's a gal. Mi vieja amiga is here. Ooh, ¿cómo se dice?
Está aquí.
I can't use es because that would identify. And we want to say she's here. Está
aquí.
Está aquí. Está aquí.
Para
Para Navidad.
Para Navidad, para la Navidad, no importa mucho. It doesn't matter. Right? Para Navidad. Okay, so mi vieja amiga. Don't omit that word amiga.
Can we use antigua instead of vieja?
Well, antigua, wow. You could, but this would be more common.
Like, okay.
Antigua kind of means
Like antique friend.
Yeah. You could.
Antiquated.
But are you saying my former friend?
She's 90 years old. Former, well, it could be, yeah.
You're not saying that they're old. If you're saying they were real old, wouldn't you put Viega after?
Right. If you mean that your friend is an elderly person, not my old friend could be 25 years old. If we're both 25 and we've been friends since grade school, she's still an old friend, right?
Yeah.
Mi vieja amiga. So you see the difference. Mi vieja amiga. You could be both 25 and you've been friends since first grade. And it's mi vieja amiga is okay, right? But mi amiga vieja changes it to she's an elderly person. Mi amiga vieja, not my young friend. My friend who's elderly. Okay. Okay, bien. And of course, if it were a man, it would be viejo. If it were amigo, it would be viejo, amigo. And this is a pretty strict thing. To say my old friend, meaning it's been my friend for ages, it's viejo amigo, not really antiguo, not antiguo. Antiguo kind of means former, like beforehand. And yeah, that doesn't carry quite the same meaning. Mi viejo amigo. Do not omit the word amigo because mi vieja or mi viejo is something you hear some people say as my spouse. my old man, my old lady.
Oh,
You know what? In old movies in particular, that's kind of a thing. It's like some movie from the 1940s. My old lady, some swaggering that my old lady.
oh dear.
That's got a bad taste. My old
Yeah.
lady.
A
My
bad
old lady expects
connotation.
me home. I gotta leave the bar, guys. My old lady.
Not pretty.
Not pretty, no. Crude. What a vulgar man. What a vulgar woman. Yeah. So, but it doesn't have that kind of crude connotation in Spanish at all. So, okay, here's the important thing for you to know. The first time I think a friend ever used that with me, I thought, I kind of went, ugh. And she looked at me and goes, I just mean my husband. So yeah, if somebody says, and it doesn't have the crude and obnoxious connotation it would in English, right? Your chuckles all told me. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Unless it's like a real sugar mama or sugar daddy. Then.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And the delinquent adolescent, my old man, meaning his dad. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, and it never sounds good in English, but in Spanish, it sounds perfectly okay. And it's not like calling your husband a jerk or calling your wife a slob. It's not any of that. Yeah. Mi viejo or mi vieja just is referring to a spouse. It can do that. So no, don't omit that word, amigo. Can't take the shortcut, okay? Because it means something special all by itself. Okay, these boots are brand new. Ooh, ¿cómo se? These have got T's. So
Botas.
botas. Estas botas
Son nuevas.
son nuevas.
So you don't have to say muy if it's a brand new, like real brand new, like this one is brand new.
You can include muy, yeah. Sí.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sí, dime.
If the boots are new, could it be a stan? Because they're not always going to be new.
You will hear people do, yes, you will. For brand new, hear some people sometimes instead, están. And by doing that, they're giving it that temporary thing of like, just out of the box. Yeah, it could be.
Okay.
Es posible.
Just curious.
Okay. Okay. Her cookies are excellent.
Pregunto.
Sí, Bill.
The word brand wasn't used in there. And,
No.
In number 9, the word brand is used in terms of the car. The question is, do you put in brand? And if you do, does it go before or after?
Brand is a noun in the other example, I believe. Yes. It is a different word in that situation because it means a company name because it associates a product with the company that makes it. And then it becomes a noun shortly. Okay. Her cookies are excellent.
Sus galletas.
Sus galletas
son excelentes.
Son excelentes. Son maravillosas, son fantásticas, son estupendas. Do all those descriptions give the same idea? Yeah, they're just
son genial.
Estupendas, geniales, excelentes, muy ricas, riquísimas, anything that indicates really good. Okay, that's another.
Say están there.
I have a question.
See, you could. Let's say they're on a plate right in front of you and you're eating them right now. Yes.
So it'd be the difference between if they are good right now or if they're just her cookies in general.
Yeah, están kind of indicates flavor. Están gives you more that idea of flavor, like you're eating them. You're eating them. See. Cindy.
Can you say with that one, las galletas de ella? Because if you say don't know,
it's buena pregunta. That's a good question. Can I say las galletas de ella? Yes, you can. pero con poca frecuencia, con poca frecuencia.
The reason I'm asking is because you don't know if sus is hers or his.
No. Okay. So here's where you might, Cindy, hear las galletas de ella. The short answer to that is con poca frecuencia. Hardly ever do you hear somebody use that. But here, en contexto. Voy a decirles, I'm going to tell you guys, voy a decirles un ejemplo en contexto. Bien, tengo 3 amigas, ¿sí? Mi amiga Marta, mi amiga Marta no sabe cocinar. Es una persona que ella no cocina nunca, compra toda la comida en Safeway, toda la comida en Trader Joe's y no cocina en casa nunca. Mi amiga Marta es gran aficionada a Uber, ¿sí? Uber Eats, ¿sí? Marta no cocina. Mi amiga Anita, ella cocina muy bien. Ella cocina muy bien, sabe cocinar. Y es un hobby de Anita. Para Anita, su hobby es cocinar. Y entonces, sí, toda la comida en su casa es excelente, sí. Y tengo una tercera amiga. I have a third. Una tercera amiga. I'm telling you the order. Una tercera amiga que se llama Carmen. Mi tercera amiga Carmen es una persona, ella cocina como profesional. Cocina como profesional, ¿sí? Y toda la comida que ella hace es de nivel superior. Nivel superior
level.
¿Sí? Las cocinas de ella son excelentes. Right. Okay, you might, if you're talking about many different people. But, even then I'm talking about 3 women. Sus galletas is really what you're going to hear. Sus galletas is generally what you're going to hear most of the time. Only when somebody I am now talking about 3 different people and I want to talk about this last person that I mentioned, maybe you might hear it. Most of the time you're going to hear sus. Sí, Nora.
Can you say Susan, sus galletas? Like Susan's cookies. Susan.
Susan? No.
No.
Las galletas de Susana, sí. Las galletas de Susana son excelentes, sí.
But it's not like a mí me gusta. It's not Susan, sus galletas.
No. And a Susana and a ella. And we will not use a with that phrase because she's not receiving any action. We're just talking about her cookies. They're the things she made. See? Bien. Okay. Número 7. That's another thing. Do we even know what we're referring to with that? No. Okay. So it's a very abstract thing. We need an abstract word. We need eso.
Eso es otra cosa.
Eso es
otra cosa.
Otra cosa. Eso es otra cosa. Oh, that's something else. Oh, we sometimes say that's something else. Eso es otra cosa. Another follows the word thing, cosa. Eso es otra cosa. Yeah, when somebody wants me say that's another thing, that's something else. And I didn't phrase it as something else because you'd be looking for else. We never learned that word. No, something else is otra cosa. Bien. Okay. Bueno. We have very little food in the refrigerator. Tenemos
Muy poca
muy poca comida
en nevera.
en la nevera.
nevera.
And here you get lots of different words for fridge. En la nevera, en
Refrigerador.
el
Refrigerador.
frigorífico, en el refrigerador. No importa. Yeah, there will be different regional words for fridge. No importa mucho. Tenemos muy poca comida. Es la parte importante. Tenemos muy poca. Tenemos muy poca comida. Poca comida. ¿Sí?
Can
Very
you
little.
use de dentro? Dentro, de.
Dentro, you could say dentro, inside of, as opposed to outside of, but probably just en.
And
Muy
either
fácil. The shortest way of communicating that will be the most likely. And now we come to our brand word. See, Bill. Okay. Brand. Brand, when we use it as a noun. So Colgate is a brand. Colgate es una marca. Bien. See, Crest es una marca. Lamborghini es una marca. Bien, Ford es una marca. Bien, Samsung es una marca. LG es una marca. Those are all brands, or maybe we might say brand name. And the word for that is marca, la marca. Okay, vamos a ver. Their first car.
Tu primer carro.
Tu primer carro or
Fue
auto.
una
Coche.
marca alemán.
Sí, fue
alemana.
una marca
de alemán.
Alemana. Fue una marca alemana. Was a German brand. De Alemania, ok, vale, pero marca alemana normal. Su primer carro fue una marca alemana, was a German brand.
Oh.
Alemana is a very specific adjective, okay? So that will not precede marca, that will go after marca, una marca alemana. Es algo muy específico. That is very specific, okay? Mexico has many delicious dishes.
México tiene
Muchos
platos deliciosos, ricos, saborosos. There are lots of words for tasty, but you get the idea. See? Sabrosos, perdón, sabrosos. Okay. Bien, so, and I'm just saying you can use any of these things. Ricos y sabrosos. Yeah, it wants me to use the E thing. Okay, vale, bien. Nos quedan 6. We've got 6 left. Okay, I'm going to send you out for breakout room, but we're probably going to have to keep it to more like 6-7 minutes. ¿Sí? ¿Fácil? Bien?
Sí.
Okay, magnifico. We'll send you out for the last bit. And then we'll come on back, compare some notes. And I'll share it in the breakout room as well.
Oh.
We're interested to hear the correct answers.
Bien, okay. Yeah, I'm running a little late here, so we're gonna hope everybody comes on out quickly so we can go over those real fast. And you know, ooh, there's one in there. I wish I had changed that a little bit, but okay. They're gonna be
more for us to learn.
Okay. Sí, bien. Todos están. We got everybody back in. Casi todos. Okay. Vamos a empezar. So we're going to start on back. The only one here that might be, you know, ooh, I wish I had changed number 14 a little to give something that was a little clearer, because there are actually going to be a couple ways you could do number.
Yeah.
14.
Would you put up the list again, please?
Sí. Gracias. Muy bien, sí. So the only kind of tricky one there is número 14. Number 14 is really the only tricky one, and only because, well, actually, I'll show you how people would generally say it.
That's good. We had trouble with 14.
Yeah. And
And
if you did, don't feel bad. Okay. So I want to buy another ticket. This one is a little more straightforward. Quiero. Comprar.
Billete.
Otro billete.
Otro
There
boleto.
are different words for
Billete.
tickets. Some people call billete, otro billete. It could be otra entrada, otra entrada, like for a concert, because it's an entrance. It might be called an entrada instead of billete. No.
Otro boleto.
Boleto, otro boleto.
Do you not have to say un otro?
No, qué importante. How important that is. Un otro never. We say another. Pero en español, no se usa un otro. Una otra. No, nunca, never. Otro is the whole idea of another. Siempre. Entonces, la cosa importante. So here's the important thing, that it will look like that without any word like un or una in front of it. Sí, exacto. Okay. Bien. Aquí. Bueno. How was, but we have to make it fueron. ¿Cómo? Fueron. Now we need the your.
Tus.
Tus, probably. It could be sus, but probably tus. Tus
Últimas
vacaciones. ¿Cómo fueron tus últimas vacaciones? How were your last vacation? How was your last vacation? And it's just because the word vacation in Spanish happens to be a plural word. That's the way that goes. It's always vacaciones, never vacación. See, it's always vacaciones.
From the spelling of vacation, do you know that it's feminine? Because I'm missing something. How do you know it's feminine?
You do, because vacación. Yeah, vacación has that ion thing going, and ion is always Sion, C-I-O-N is always feminine.
I forgot that.
In this case, this particular word happens to be used in the plural form. That's just what they do. There's no reason for it. So, but it's still feminine, but it's plural feminine. Tus últimas vacaciones. Bien? Vale. Okay. My former neighborhood,
Barrio Antiguo.
Antiguo barrio. Because it's not built in the 1500s. That would be antiguo. It's antiguo barrio. Mi antiguo barrio está
cerca de Chicago.
Está cerca de Chicago.
Why is it a está? I mean, the neighborhood is never going to move.
No, it never is going to move.
So why is it an S?
Because es is only used for location if you're talking about an event.
Okay.
And a neighborhood is not an event.
Okay. So
if I were talking about una fiesta, a party, I could use es. If I were talking about una reunión, a meeting, that's an event. If I were talking about una boda, a wedding, that's an event. But if I'm talking about a neighborhood, even though yeah, it's, even though it isn't going to change, even though it's, well, that location is not temporary. It doesn't matter. Location is estar.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, here comes a hard one. I'm going to show you the shorty of what it generally should be. And I should have thought this out a little more carefully. I did not. El pobre viejo necesita ayuda. That would be the most common thing because they would be using the word viejo to say old man. However, you can have el pobre hombre viejo necesita ayuda. Está bien. That's fine. That's fine. Most people in that case will just say el viejo to say the old man. Yeah, they will in most cases, just because it shortens your
Oh, so you don't have to mention el pobre y viejo hombre.
You could, and actually there, we don't really know if you mean poor as in he has no money, or poor as in, oh, poor man.
Okay.
It's not very, it's not very, yeah, it's kind of out of context, isn't it? So could it be el hombre pobre y viejo? It could be if the man had no money. So there, we're kind of lacking some context there. I got to think of a better example. Next class, we'll start off with a surprise example, and it will be obvious context. I should have picked something with more obvious context.
Una pregunta, por favor.
Sí, dime.
If there were two adjectives in front of the noun, like grande and viejo, would there be an E before that?
No,
or between that?
The E would only the E can separate two adjectives.
So if it was el grande y viejo hombre, you would put the E between gran and viejo?
Well, you won't have viejo there with hombre. Viejo amigo, old friend.
Okay, make it amigo.
Viejo vecino, old neighbor, meaning your former neighbor, the neighbor you used to have, but not just with hombre.
Okay, but with amigo, grand.
Amigo, el grande,
great old man.
There it's not right for, so it'll have to go to long for el grande y viejo amigo. Yeah, you could, but it's a little clumsy.
It would be clunky, but the E would separate them in the front.
You would yeah.
Okay.
If you do, you would be unlikely to ever hear somebody use
right.
It. Unlikely.
Can we change that sentence instead of saying the poor old man because old man is something else? Could we say my black furry cat?
Okay. Let's take something.
We would use an E between black and furry.
Yeah.
Negro
Mi negro y peludo. Negro y peludo. Sí. Mi perro marrón y juguetón. Brown and playful.
Sí.
Yeah. Sí. I see, like that. Well,
the old man versus old was screwing me up.
Yeah. I should have chosen an easier to use one, but poor old man is kind of a common thing, but it depends on what you mean, doesn't it? Okay, we are here all week. Okay.
Estamos aquí toda la semana.
Estamos aquí toda la semana.
Toda la semana.
Toda la semana. All the week. All week. We do need the la there. Toda la semana. Toda la semana. We do need a la there. That means all the, I know it means all the week. Toda la semana. All week. Todo el día. All day. Toda la clase, all class time long. See? Todo el mes, the whole month. Okay, bien. Oh, we'll take another coffee, and that could mean take as in drink. It could mean take as in we're taking it
Yeah.
away. So I'm going to give you two verbs we might use. We might use tomamos, or if you mean like we're
Llevamos.
carrying it away, like it's a to go,
Llevar,
to go,
llevamos,
you might use instead llevamos.
Vamos.
So the verb you use might vary depending on the meaning of
Right.
will take, as in I'm walking out of the store with it, or as in, hey, we're sitting at the table and we want to drink it right now. Tomamos, okay, pero la cosa importante, another coffee.
Otro café.
otro café.
Otro café. Otro café, por favor. And people may shorten por favor to porfa. Porfa.
Porfa.
Porfa. Muy coloquial, porfa. Otro café, porfa.
A quick question.
Sí, sí.
And this one, when you're saying we'll take another coffee, doesn't that imply there's more than one person?
It
Wouldn't it
does. And it means
would-
I'm in the group.
Would it mean that you want more than one coffee?
Cafes.
Yeah, probably. And you would use some body language to,
Some S's in there?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't be otros cafés. It would be otro café, otro café. Otro café, cada uno, we each one, or, you know, something like that. Yeah. But tomamos, llevamos, vamos a llevar, vamos a tomar, anything like that, pero otro café, otro café. ¿Ok? ¿Bien?
Yeah.
Bien,
Sí.
magnífico.
Súper bien.
Difícil.
Súper bien, súper bien. Excelente, súper bien. Bueno, vale. I was hoping we were going to get to que. We're not getting to que yet today. So we're going to carry over que, the idea of que, into next week's lesson. I'll probably have like a couple of videos for you to watch on que. We're also going to talk about how people frequently take these adjectives and bump up the quality. Kind of like saying super bien. Super, and one way they might do that is, you know, oh, super precioso, really cute, right? Super bonito, really pretty. Super grande, really big. There's another way of saying super grande, super bonito, super precioso, super cute. And we will talk about that next week. I'll give you a little video to watch on that. It is a little thing we're going to tag on to the end of the adjective, and you may hear people use it conversationally quite a lot. So it's going to be issimo. It sounds very Italian because the Italians use that as well. So that will be something I'll send you a video on, and we will build that into some practice to talk about things next week. So we're going to have to carry over our subject of que into next week. ¿Está bien?
Sí.
Está bien.
Sí.
Excelente, muy bien, muy bien, excelente. Entonces nos vemos la próxima semana. We have one more week. La próxima semana.
Are we still
okay?
meeting at on the 9th, Diane?
Still online.
No, we are
Oh,
not.
I'm sorry. No, Juanita got on late for that. No, we are not meeting at the luncheon.
Okay,
That has been canceled.
has been canceled, okay.
Okay.
All right, well, I think it's too late to ask a question, but maybe
No.
next week.
You can ask now.
Oh, I tried the all the 80 question that the quiz thingy. I'm still confused. Like some of them, I still got a lot of wrong about when you're doing, like, you know, when they say it's about, for example, they just put pero. So, and then you gotta to choose between to, me, you know, so which one? And then if I pick me and then it's wrong, so it's gotta be to. So I don't know how to indicate which one is correct,
The
you
one,
know?
the ones that talk about possession.
Yes.
Who
So
owns,
that's
we
kind
need a little
of,
more.
I have a little problem on that, like, you know,
Okay.
defining which one, because I keep making a mistake on that too. Like, you know, a couple of the stuff like that. It's just saying perro, and then you have to decide who's belong to, like, you know, this dog.
Did you hit the English button to the left of the sentence? Then it will give you the translation on top.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
I
is
did the
right.
same thing on the first one. Yeah.
So here's what you have to do. There is a button to the left that says English translation. Yeah, because if it says, you know, you see, yeah, you want to say his.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So the button gives you, and I think it was in yellow, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
there's
do
a
that,
yellow
so I
button.
just.
Did you save that? Did you save that link? Did you save that?
I did that. I have that, but then
Go
I
back
just
and look again.
did
And
it in
you'll hit the
Spanish.
button first, and then in the slot above, it will tell you the translation it wants.
Yes.
And then you like, oh, super magic, I know what to do, right?
Okay,
Because
got it.
su perro could mean his dog, it could mean her dog, it could mean their
Right,
dog.
right.
And you needed the translation. So you hit, I think it is a yellow button. I think you're looking for a yellow tab.
Okay.
Does that make sense now?
Yes. All right.
Excelente. Okay, muy bien.
Okay.
Mystery song.
Gracias.
Excelente. De nada.